Good evening. Today is Thursday, March the 11th. Today in geometry, we looked at vectors, and I will share my screen and show you a couple of the types of problems that you're looking at with vectors. So when you start with a vector, you generally start, if we go ahead and draw our axis here, our y-axis and our x-axis. You start with 2 points. So let's say we have point A with coordinates 1 and 3. And we have point B with coordinates, let's say 5 and 7, or 5 and 9, okay? So point B has coordinates 5 and 9. Now, anytime you have a problem that gives you coordinates, you should plot those points. So we'll come over here and put a point here, which is roughly 1 and 3. That's point A. And we label the coordinates 1 and 3. We do the second point, which is B, which is over here and about up here somewhere. So this is point B. And its coordinates are 5 and 9. Now, if we draw the line that goes from point A here up to point B, we put an arrow on the end of it up here at B, because that tells us that the vector goes from A to B. Now, when we write this out, we write vector A. If you have a textbook or something, normally the vector notation will be bold-faced, but for writing on a screen like this, we put a little arrow on top of it. Now it goes from the left letter to the right letter, and we talk about the components of the vector. So we put, instead of having parentheses on the side here, which would indicate you have coordinates over here, when you see these little sideways V's, you know you have a vector. So if we look at what happens here, if you kind of draw, anytime you get a vector, you can break it apart into its x component here, which goes about like that, and its y component, which is like that. Now, so if you look from 1 to 5 here is 4. So this side right here is 4. And then from 3 up to 9 is 6. So the vector here is 4 and 6. Now that tells us that vector AB goes 4 units to the right and 6 units up in the positive vertical direction. Now, if we want to get the magnitude of vector AB, and all the magnitude is just the length of vector AB. So it's just like the Pythagorean theorem. We would have the square root of, if you do it from the picture or from the vector here, it would just be 4 squared plus 6 squared. So that's 36 plus 16. So the magnitude of vector AB is the square root of 52. Now, the direction of AB, if you want to find the direction, we can do we can look at this little angle right here, which we will call angle theta. And we can say theta equals the angle whose tangent is, and this goes back to what we learned in the previous sections. So the inverse tangent of 6, which is the opposite side, divided by 4, or you can reduce that to 3/2. So you got 6 divided by 4, if you put this in your calculator. Now remember, you're going to make sure when you're in your calculator that you're in degree mode, because if you're in radian mode, I'm in degree mode. So I just do second tangent, which is because you see the tangent minus 1 button is above the tangent button. And I do 6 divided by 4, and I get an answer of 56.3 degrees. So this is 56.3 degrees. So I can write vector AB. I can say AB, vector AB is equal to square root of 52. So this is the square root of 52, which would be 2 square root of 13 if we want to simplify it, at 56.3 degrees north of east. So I do a north of east because the vector is going on the north side. Remember, north is here. When you're looking at your axis, north is here, east is here, south is here, and west is over here. So when I'm saying north of east, that means I go in the east direction and I turn north, okay? So that's pretty much what we learned today. Now tomorrow, if you look in your textbook, we're going to look at a little laboratory exercise that follows this section that deals with putting two vectors together graphically. So if you look at that and you get a ruler and a compass and try to do that, you can kind of understand what we'll be doing tomorrow. And then we'll come back next week and finish up the chapter 8 syllabus. So I'll be back with you Sunday to let you know what's going to be expected for next week. Now, sometime next week we will have the chapter 8 test, and I will let you know what that is also when the time comes. So if you have any questions, send me an email. I'll go ahead and stop sharing here now. And then I'll get back to you if you have questions. Remember, tomorrow is the last day of the 9 weeks. So if you owe me some work, and one or two of you do, if you owe me some work, you need to get that in tomorrow, or at least get enough of it in so that you can get a grade which is above 60. So let me know if you need anything, and otherwise I will see you Sunday night.